Hello, everyone, and welcome to our June seminar heading into the summer. And I'm super happy to have Raana with us, Raana Zia. Today, we're going to be talking about simple mindfulness strategies that will positively shift your life. And I won't talk too much more because I'm going to let Raana take it away. So, yeah, let's go for it. And then you can structure this any way you want, Raana. If you want to talk and then people can ask questions after, or you want people to jump in the middle, whatever you prefer.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, first of all, hi everyone. I'm Raana Zia. I'm the author of the book, Your Hidden Light, a personal guide to creating your desired life. You can see the poster behind me. So what I'll do is I'll give you a bit of background of who I am and my journey, which led me into this space of mindfulness and how it's really transformed my life. And then I'm going to kind of share an overview of the power and transformative benefits of mindfulness strategies, and then give you kind of 5 tips that have been really powerful in shifting my day at work. And they're pretty simple and very easy to integrate into your workday for immediate results. So if that works for everybody, we can follow that format. And as far as questions, yeah, feel free to ask questions at any time. You can do it along the way, or we can save it to the end. I'm really open to that. So I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. All right, so let's get started a little bit about who I am. So I'm Indian by origin. I was born in the US. I studied economics in college, and since then I've built a 20+ year career in corporate finance. And most of my career was in the retail industry, and I really enjoyed the retail industry. And as a result, I continued to climb the corporate ladder on the finance side. And from a personal standpoint, I got married, had 2 children. And really kind of my journey into this new kind of phase of my life began in 2012 when I hit a career milestone for myself. I became the CFO of a large billion-dollar retailer, and it was exactly what I wanted. It was where I wanted to live. And it also happened a lot sooner and a lot easier than I expected. So in a way, this was a huge sort of catalyst and an awakening period of time for myself. There was something on the inside of me that kind of woke up, and there was a sense of knowing that this opportunity, the one that presented itself to me, there was something that I had done internally. It wasn't just sort of all my external accomplishments, but it was something about what I was doing internally, energetically, and what I was thinking, what I was feeling, what I was believing, that really allowed this to come into my life a lot sooner than I had thought it would. And as a result for me, I had this thought, well, if I can create this in my life, what else could I create in my life? And could I find something that created a lot more fulfillment? And could it possibly look a lot different than what it had been for the last 20 years? So when I started this new job and moved across the country, brought my family, it was also the beginning of a personal growth journey for myself. I started to really kind of get into reading a lot of self-help books, going to conferences, going to seminars, and I was really sort of searching for my own personal answers of, what's my purpose and how am I able to create things in my life, and why can't I create other things in my life? And along the way, I started to learn really profound pieces of wisdom that were really life-changing for me. I was learning that I did have the power to create my own reality by first creating it inside of myself and aligning myself energetically on the inside. And I was learning that to consciously create anything that I had desired, it really was. And it really started with my ability to kind of quiet myself, quiet my mind, quiet my body, and really start to consciously direct my energy, my thoughts, feelings, and beliefs in this direction of where I wanted to go. So this, along the way too, I realized that, why this was becoming a very heavy sort of spiritual sort of path I was going on. I was also finding that there were, a lot of scientific studies showing the impact of mindfulness practices and the fact that we are able to rewire our brain. And this resulted in our ability to create new habits, beliefs, skills, and opportunities. So it's really kind of exciting now in this space to see a lot more research and studies that are starting to really prove out scientifically the benefits of these practices that have been going on for thousands of years. So, you know, the basis of kind of everything I write in this book and what I talk about is this idea of that everything is energy, and that we're connected to everyone and everything through this energy. And by becoming aware of our own energy and by managing and correctly directing our energy, we have the power to effectively create our desired outcomes. So mindfulness really simply means being more aware, centered, and present, and being much more in tune and in control of our own thoughts and feelings, as well as being much more in tune with others. And also the awareness and control of our thoughts and feelings is foundational, is absolutely foundational for becoming like this master creator of your own life. So for me personally, I started to experiment with different kinds of mindfulness concepts and practices. And really, to my own amazement, I was finding for myself time and time again my ability to create positive desired outcomes just by managing my own thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and actions, and really kind of acting opposite from how I had been acting in the past. And so honestly, it's like my own experiences, and this is usually, I mean, it's all really, I mean, you can get all the facts, can get all the data, but until you start to build your own facts and have your own experiences, it's not going to really mean much to you. And so for me, over time, I kept, my mind was being flooded by all of this information. I was experiencing things on my own. And I really began this new desire to write a book and to put it all down in one place. Mainly so I could retain everything that I was learning. I could share it with my children, and I could share it with people who I believe could get some real benefit and value. Because through my own journey, I was kind of waking up to this, wow, life is so much more interesting and exciting than I ever thought it was. And we are so much more powerful than I ever believed I was. And why didn't I know this way back when? And why doesn't everybody know this? So for me, it was very, very interesting. And I'll be honest with you, like I built a career on finance. I never had a desire to write a book. So this new desire was actually very interesting and exciting. I didn't have a belief yet that I could write a book, but I knew that I couldn't actually create it unless I had a belief. So I had to actually work on building that belief. And eventually I knew at the right time, I would actually do this and make a shift in my life. And so for me, what happened at the end of 2016, I walked into work one day and I was told my position was being eliminated, as well as a lot of other leadership positions due to a restructuring. And while this was shocking, right? Nobody wants to kind of lose their job. There was a real part of me that believed that I created this for myself. Like here I was giving myself the opportunity to actually make a meaningful shift. And I was given the time to write this book. And that's when I wrote it. I wrote it in 2017 and it was, I think, out by the end of the year. And I've kind of shifted my life into this space of moving more in towards how to help people and support people and help people really kind of make some meaningful changes and enhance their lives through these very, very powerful strategies of going within ourselves and finding our own power. So Your Hidden Light, my book, synthesizes powerful ancient spiritual wisdom into practical application. And these practices and philosophies absolutely rang true for me and have opened my eyes to the power that we all have to create what we desire by first creating it within ourselves. And like I mentioned before, we are starting to see more research and data supporting the real benefits of these practices. So, there's one quote by Nikola Tesla, and maybe you've all heard it, but I absolutely love it. It's that if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Because truly, everything is energy, and the language of the universe is energy and vibration. And so by tuning into our own energy and aligning and directing our own energy and vibration, we're communicating out into the universe, and we're attracting that back, that we actually are vibrating at. And that's, for me, my whole sort of awakening into our own power. We have the power to consciously start to think and manage our thoughts, our feelings and beliefs. And by consciously doing that, we can influence more of what we want. And we also develop a greater sense of overall happiness and well-being. So, I'm going to just pause for a second, because I'm going to start to kind of jump into some of, the practices that I have found to have, really sort of make some dramatic shifts in my life. And one of them being, the practice of meditation. And meditation in and of itself was life-changing for me. And there've been, numerous studies now and research showing the real benefit of meditation, both at home and at work. And meditation reduces stress, increases productivity, creativity, focus, resilience, and so much more. And as a result, companies like Google, Apple, General Mills, Aetna, Goldman Sachs, many, many more are adopting and training in these mindfulness programs. And, there are real individual benefits and company benefits. And there was also a 2015 study done at BlackRock, which is an investment management firm, that showed really pretty incredible results of the participants in their mindfulness program. It showed that 66% of participants experienced less stress and were better able to manage their stress. 60% felt like they had increased focus, resilience, and better decision making. Over 50% experienced better management of relationships at work, and slightly over 40% increased greater creativity and innovation. And, from an Aetna study done, around that same period of time, they were actually trying to quantify the cost benefits for the company. And they were able to show some real cost savings, based on reduction in healthcare costs, because the employees in this program were actually showing reduced levels of stress, as well as, they estimated financial benefits of the increase in productivity. So by seeing the increase in productivity of almost over an hour a week per employee in this program, they were able to calculate actual, cost benefits of doing that. So it's really kind of cool to see some real kind of data supporting it, and the support of it in the workplace. Because for myself, not even knowing any of this data, when I started to actually take up these practices, I really saw the benefits myself, just every single day going to work. I was no longer going to work all sort of frazzled and stressed and just reacting to things in my workday. I was actually creating my workday, and I was finding that by being much more intentional, I was much more productive. I was much more happy. I could solve problems a lot easier, and I could really influence positive outcomes. And that's a bit about what I want to share today is, what are strategies that are really easy to implement at work, or even not even, just to even try to see if you actually experience benefits, the similar type of benefits that I experience, because they're very easy. They're very, not very time consuming, and you can easily integrate it into your day. So I'm going to constantly, kind of emphasize sort of the power of meditation. And I know that, a lot of people feel like they don't have the time, and it does take discipline, right? To actually do a meditation practice, I actually do probably about 20 minutes every morning. And for me, because I saw the benefits, I just didn't want to start my day without meditation. But it is a discipline, and I recommend, try it even for 5 minutes. Do it from 5 to 10 minutes on a daily basis. And there's many, many different styles of meditation and a lot of resources. I've gone on YouTube and I've tried different meditation apps, and you just find the one that's right for you. And the whole point of meditation is just taking that time out first thing in the morning to just relax your mind, clear your thoughts, get yourself in a very sort of calm and focused place. Because if you can start your day that way, it shifts everything in your day. And you also become a lot more aware of everything that lives inside of you. Those negative thoughts that fly in, that put stress in your body, you start to become aware of what's living inside of you. And when you're much more aware of what's living inside of you, you can more easily, consciously start shifting those things inside of you and directing them in ways that serve you. So that's, for me, the power of meditation is really trying to really build up that mental muscle of awareness and being able to manage your own thoughts and feelings. Because the whole idea of this is, how do you manage your energy, align your energy, and direct it in a way so you can easily influence positive outcomes and create positive outcomes. Now, if a meditation practice actually feels a bit daunting, there are 5 mindfulness tips that I just want to share with you that you can use to help create positive shifts in your day. And the first one being a 1-minute meditation with an intention. So this is practice doing a 1-minute meditation at work. And it's easy because it's 1 minute, right? And most people feel like they don't have a lot of time at work to sit down and do 20 minutes of meditation. So a 1-minute meditation is very powerful and effective in preparing for a task or a meeting. And it's very powerful for creating a desired outcome if you set an intention at the start of your meditation. And the intention is really important. And so what I would recommend is that, in your chair, you sit quietly. You can put on earbuds and you can play meditation music if you need to block out any external noises. But it's also, if you're in a really quiet space to begin with, it's easy to kind of just get yourself into it. It's just, you sit quietly, do a few deep breaths, and then set an intention for what you want to experience. If you're going to go into a meeting, set an intention. I want to have a productive meeting. If you're going to go begin a project at work, you set an intention, I want to successfully complete this project today. Whatever your intention is, just get very clear, you state it in your mind, and then you let it go and just focus on your breath or on the meditation music, and you stay in that kind of calm space for a minute, at least a minute. If you can do more, great, but all you really need is a minute. And then when you're done, you move in. You move into your meeting, you move into your day. And like I said, it's pretty quick. All it requires is your conscious attention, right? It's consciously saying, I'm going to do this. I'm going to consciously state my intention, and then just spending a minute quieting your mind and then moving into your day and see what happens. And you'll find out that it is pretty powerful. And I mean that in the sense that you have to experience what it does for you. Were you able to go through your day and actually do what you intended to do? And what I was finding more times than not, that I was magically able to kind of influence my outcomes. So that, I would say, is the number one most powerful thing that I would recommend trying, the 1-minute meditation with intention. And number 2, which I always find really helpful, is what I like to call the practice of mindful email management. This means that you just have to become a lot more aware of how your work emails make you feel. Do they create tension, anxiety? For me, what I found is that, my alarm would be in my phone, and my alarm would go off in the morning. I'd wake up, and the first thing I would do is just check my work emails. And then those work emails where, usually I would think nothing of it, I started to realize just would put me already in this immediate state of anxiousness. Like, I got to get to work and get this done, or I got to do this, I got to do that. And then I just kind of run on autopilot. And one day I just decided, like, this can't be good, because I'm waking up feeling a bit of anxiety and stress and tension. I'm not present at home. I'm not present with my kids before I go to school, before they go to school. So I started to not check emails until I really needed to, and sometimes I pushed it out until I actually sat in my seat at work. And instead, I would wake up, I would meditate, I would get myself calm, focused, and centered. And by doing so, my days just moved better. I didn't miss out on anything by not checking my emails for the first hour of the morning. And I was actually much more effective in my responses and in what I needed to do. And what this really does is just, you need to start your day in sort of this high vibrational state of being. And if you start your day immediately in a sense of anxiousness, you lower your vibration and your day kind of responds accordingly. So this is something that, even if you just try for a week and see if it shifts how your work days go, you're going to find that you're not really missing anything, and you're actually gaining a lot. And that's what I found. And also, along the lines of emails, it's just be mindful of how emails trigger you throughout the day. Oftentimes, how often do we get like an email that kind of triggers us and we respond right away in sort of this worked up state? And just being mindful of that and saying, okay, this email is not making me feel good. It's making me feel stressed out. Maybe I need to take a few minutes to calm down before I respond. And just being mindful of how, technology essentially impacts us. So number 3, as far as a tip, it would be to listen and be more present with others, and sometimes this is hard. It's hard for all of us, but it's shifting focus to others versus yourself. And really, it's about, don't waste your energy thinking about what you plan to say next or do when someone else is talking. And look, we're all guilty of it. A lot of times, when you're in this conversation and at work, if you're in meetings and conversations, it's, there's a level of stress that builds up where it's like, okay, what am I going to say? What am I going to say next? And it's instead, it's doing the opposite. It's just being really present and listening. And it's almost, you take the mindset of, let me observe the other person. What are they really saying? How are they speaking? How can I really determine how they're feeling? What's like their underlying needs or intentions? And letting other people speak more and only responding if really needed. And, what you'll see is that when you do speak, your words are actually much more meaningful and impactful. And this is because you're consciously focusing your energy, and you're becoming a lot more centered, connected, and present. It's another very, very powerful tool. Number 4 is, I like this one, is, smiling more or even laughing more. I'm someone who just loves to have fun at work and kind of lighten the energy. And we often take our lives too seriously. I see it all the time, and forget that we need to be enjoying what we do. And so when you actually put a smile on your face, you automatically shift your own mood. You can even force a smile on your face, and it starts to shift things internally. So when you feel good, you attract more good into your life. That's the bottom line. And when you smile, you automatically shift your mood, you elevate your vibration, and you do the same for others around you. So really become more aware of your mood during the day, and remember to consciously smile, and that'll shift a lot. And then finally, the last one I wanted to share was, get outside if you can. If you take time off or time, for lunch, you allocate a certain amount of time, get out, get some fresh air, change your environment. This will help relax you, help center you, help you refocus you, and elevate your mood by taking a walk and just getting your body moving. So, and there are several other things that, you can do at work. And, if you have questions on things that you've done personally or you want to share, please feel free to chime in. And then, I just want to conclude by saying that your work day might always feel really, really crazy and hectic, right? And you're always rushing, and you have little time, or you feel like you have no time to slow down. And that's why these strategies are so powerful and effective, because they don't take a lot of time. And instead, what they do is they require your conscious thinking. It's really consciously saying, I'm going to stop for a minute, and I'm going to consciously decide, what do I want the outcome to be of this part of my day? It's consciously focusing your thoughts, becoming aware of your own feelings, and doing this throughout the day. And by checking in with yourself throughout the day and managing yourself throughout the day, you're able to influence your day. So it's just by being more conscious of your thoughts and your actions, you can literally start to create your day, create your reality. And that's what I found to be, made my day so much more exciting at work. So does anybody have any questions? We can jump into questions now.
Don't be shy, guys. Speak up.
I'm like, did I lose everybody?
No. Well, so, I'll just, if anyone, does anyone have a question? Just jump in. Yeah, Carlos, go for it.
Hi, I don't really have a question. I just wanted to say that these 5 practices look very simple and easy to apply on my daily basis. I've been practicing meditation in the morning for, I think, 2 months. It's been very difficult to have the discipline to do it on a daily basis, but I'm looking forward to be more disciplined the rest of the day. Maybe a question could be, any advice for this discipline during the day, considering that we are busy all day, meeting over meeting, telephone and email and everything. How can we have those moments in our days to practice?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, because everybody is so busy. My days were meeting to meeting to meeting to meeting, and for me, it was literally, sometimes I think, myself as a human experiment, right? You hear something that could work, let me see if I can try it. And the 1-minute meditation to me was very doable, because it was a minute. And so, like for me, I had Outlook in my calendar where you have the meetings that I have to go to during the day. So if it was just a reminder, it's scheduling that little 1-minute meditation before a meeting in your calendar. So you remember, before I go in, let me just take a minute to set an intention. That to me was the most powerful. It is setting an intention before I cleared my mind completely. What do I want? If I can't, it could be something general. Like I said, I want this meeting. I want to walk out feeling like I had a productive meeting, like we got a lot of work done. I would just set the intention, quiet my mind for a minute, and a minute will feel like a long time, right? Because when you're so busy, stopping for a minute will feel long, but it's only a minute, and then you walk into your meeting. So for me, that was the one that I could try out pretty easily. Because it didn't take much time at all. And that was the easiest one. Now, what I loved about it was that when you do it with an intention and you experience for yourself, I just manifested my intention. I got what I wanted. Then it made me curious to do it more often. So that one's the easiest, and put it into your calendar, as a reminder, because we need the reminders. And sometimes for me, whether it's a list, writing it down on my list, or having it on my calendar, was a way to remind me, like, I got to take a minute.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Raana, David wrote in the chat, any thoughts on mindfulness and pain management?
In pain management, I haven't, like, physical pain management. Is that the question? I don't know.
I don't know. I'll let David, do you want to clarify?
Yes. Yes, physical pain.
Oh, physical pain management. For me personally, I have not, had the experience of having to manage through, like, a lot of, like, say, long-term physical pain management through mindfulness. But I've had, experience on, brief periods that I knew that it was a period of time I had to manage through until I was no longer feeling the pain. And at that point, I think at least it is, I go back to mindfulness is all about awareness, and going inside ourselves and being able to tune in to our own sort of intuition and listening to our own inner guidance. And that's how I've used it in certain situations. Like if I've had a surgery and I'm in a lot of pain, and my mind can go like, oh, I can meditate my way through this. No, instead it was, let me go inside and get in tune with what it is that I need to do next. Do I need extra help or support, or go back to my doctor or whatever? So that's how I would like to just answer your question. Is my experience is more with using mindfulness to tune in to what actions do I need to take next to solve this problem that I'm in.
Thank you.
Who else has questions for Raana? Raana, we have people write in questions who might not have been on the call or who are on the call and wrote them down. So I'm just going to read you some of them. That's okay, unless anyone else wants to jump in.
Mai document. Știi, document pe care
I just muted you. I hope you weren't asking a question. But I don't think you were. Okay, what question do we have? So, could you add some tips to transfer mindfulness main topics and principles for the new people in working teams?
Transfer mindfulness teams to new members who come on into working teams?
Yeah, I think that's what the question's asking. Yeah, some tips to transfer mindfulness, like main topics. I think main topics and principles, I guess. So I guess if you have new people on the team, give them some tips on like the main points of it. How would you, I guess, transmit that information?
Okay, so if it's really about, is it more about educating people on mindfulness? I'm sorry, I just want to make sure that I get clarity on the question, because as far as tips, like when you have somebody new on a team, and I've had new people on a team, and the first thing in order to have an effective team is always to make sure everybody is on the same page, right? And so to me, communication is number one, right? It's making sure that everybody's aligned with what the vision is, what needs to be accomplished, and how we're going to do that. So what are the rules of engagement? So for me, I always recommend that when you get new members on the team, it is taking that time to pause and to get everybody up to speed on, this is what we're doing, this is our vision, this is how we're getting there, and this is how we get there together. And as a team, you may have your own set of rules of engagement in terms of how you interact with each other, the importance of listening. We talked about listening being sort of a mindfulness strategy of, how we interact as a group. When somebody speaks, we listen to somebody speaks, we don't, So for me, I think it really comes down to, stopping and resetting when new people come on board, and really laying out, like I said, sort of the visions and the rules of engagement. And that would be, for any team. Now, for introducing mindfulness practices such as meditation, or, in companies, sometimes they call it centering practices. That, that is just exposing someone to something new. And that's when you can actually bring up sort of the scientific data that's out there and the research that is out there, and really setting the context of why this is going to benefit them. And for me, seeing sort of the data from companies that we all know, right, like Google, Apple, et cetera, and some of the studies that have been performed like at Aetna or at BlackRock, you can start off with, we want to be a high performance team, and this is a tool that'll help us tap in to our most creative, most innovative, and most productive selves. And there's a lot of scientific research and studies now being done that shows that this is highly effective. So we're going to add this into our own practice, and we're going to do this, before every meeting, we're going to do a 1-minute meditation to get everybody focused on our task. So we leave behind everything outside of this room and we stay focused on the task. So that's another way you can introduce it, by kind of giving people the data, the reasons why to do it. Does that help?
Yeah, I don't think he wasn't on the call, but he'll watch the video and I'm sure it will be very helpful. Carlos asked if the book is available in Spanish.
It's not at this time. It's available in English, but you can get it on Amazon.com, and it ships all around the world.
Does anyone else have questions in our last 10 minutes? Holger, I see you unmuted your mic.
Anything. You guys can ask anything.
So, someone else, so was someone going to go? Okay, another question from people who wrote in. What barriers do people encounter when trying to embrace mindfulness?
Yeah, I would say there's two things, right? There is this perception of time. Number one, feeling like I don't have time in the morning to meditate. My life is so crazy. I have things going on. And that's a perception, and I truly believe that if you decide to do something, you're able to insert it into your life. So really the number one barrier is our own negative self-talk. It's the talk saying that we can't do something or we're not able to do something. And that's this whole, idea I talk about in the book. We have the power to create our reality. We do that by first stating our desire or intention, but we need to believe it is possible for ourselves and really have this supporting feeling that, we can achieve it. And if we start to have, we can set that out, but then all of a sudden, if our mind starts to shoot it down saying, no, you can't do that, or you don't have time to do that, or you're not capable, you're not smart enough, all that negative mind chatter that goes on in the mind is the barrier that stops us. And what mindfulness actually does is it builds up that mental muscle and our own self-discipline to start to quiet that mind that shuts us down from all of our desires. So the biggest thing is that negative mind chatter. And so the only way to overcome that is to make our conscious mind much stronger than that subconscious mind chatter. And it's to actually say, I'm going to do this. And the thing is, it's harder to say, I'm going to do this for the next 30 days, right? Because it's really hard to commit to that. But it is starting really small and manageable and say, I'm just going to do it today. I'm going to just do it this morning, or I'm just going to do it right now. And not having this expectation that you have to do it forever. And to do it step by step, that's when it's going to become easier to integrate it into your life. It's finding those ways to manage your own negative mind chatter and to manage your own fears and making it small and digestible enough for you to just do it once and try it. And then you try it again and again and again.
I see in the sidebar, do you see Carlos wrote?
Yeah, I got to open it up so I can see everything. Okay. Okay, I can imagine it's been a personal process. Okay, so is that a question?
Yes.
It's been, for me, it's been definitely a personal process. Yeah, absolutely. You know, mindfulness is a very individual thing. Everybody's life, right, is an individual journey. We're on our own separate journeys. And for me, when I was feeling sort of this inner calling to say, go out and figure something else out, or there's something else that you need to be exploring, you know, I just kind of followed that instinct, didn't know where it was going to take me. And I went on my own journey. And along the way, you know, I feel so grateful to have learned a lot of different tools and ideas and concepts that for me connected with me that I wanted to try. And when I was trying these things and these strategies and this new way of being, which is, you know, creating from within and not expecting things to be created from the outside, when I started this journey of experiencing this myself, that's what kept me on this journey, because it was, you know, so life-changing for me. It made life a lot more exciting. And as a result, you know, I wanted to share it with other people, because when you find things that you find can be so meaningful and can change, you know, people's lives in a really positive way, for me, I just felt compelled to, you know, to share it with others. And, you know, people could take it or they can leave it, because it really is about finding what connects with you, but knowing that, you know, we don't know everything, and there are things that we can learn from other people. I do every single day that can really help and enhance our lives. And I was finding a lot of you know, in a lot of ways, it's acting, for me, it was acting the opposite that I'd been acting for a very long time. And that was sort of the most powerful transformation for me. It's actually the opposite of what we think it is.
No, this is super, super interesting, and it's nice. You know, it's a bit of a change of pace from what we normally have. You know, we're talking about leadership, management, and this is kind of I think it brings us back to, I don't want to say like the softer skills, but the stuff that it's not always top of mind, right? But then I think it's the important things that help us be good leaders and managers to do what you're saying.
For myself, like leading large teams, this absolutely shifted myself as a leader, and I believe made me a lot more effective. Because what mindfulness does, like I said in the beginning, not only makes you self-aware, it makes you much more aware of things around you. And when, as a leader, you can slow down and assess and become aware of your impact on others and how others are feeling, and being able to connect with them in a real way, you actually start to realize you can create much more engaged teams that are a lot more effective and productive. And that's the thing about mindfulness strategies that are coming into the workplace, right? Not only do they create happier individuals, who feel much more productive. There's a better sense of mental health and well-being, right? And the whole point, right, is for a company, you have a much more engaged workforce that is much more productive, and people are coming to work much more highly motivated. And as a leader, to understand these concepts and to use them in your own teams, it is just another tool to bring out the best in your teams and create much more engagement within your own team. So that's why, yes, they're softer skills, but they're really, really effective leadership skills. And what I love is that, you know, you hear a lot more people talking about people in like that C-suite level, like executives having these type of practices, and not even executives, athletes, all high performance people are understanding the power that we all have within our own selves, within our own minds. And so it is really kind of exciting that it's, you know, it's being talked about a lot more, and it's being brought into companies, you know, and that's, you know, in a much more, it's becoming much more common is what I'm trying to say.
Well, on that fabulous note, really, Raana, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure. Is there any last words that you'd want to say? Any before we end?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. It's great to be a part of this group. And if you want to get in touch with me or you want to learn a little bit more about my book, you can go to my website, yourhiddenlight.com. And there you can contact me. From there, you can contact me directly. And it's also links to all my other social media as well.
Sweet.
Thank you.
And don't forget, next month, guys, you can sign up already for the seminar. Next month, we are going to be talking about creating a winning corporate culture. So don't miss out. It's on July 8th, and you can sign up already today. Raana, thank you so much. It was inspirational, as always. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. Thanks again.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.